black women. Like black men come here, or black men here are like the prize for a lot of non-black women here. And those non-black women actively pursue the black men here. And I say that from a woman's perspective from what I see, but then also having black men around me who I have this conversation with. I put something in my story like a few months ago. I had just got a shirt that said, "Listen to black women." And I put, like, this is very triggering for me as a black woman in Portland, where we are overlooked, we're not valued, and we're just not considered. And the fact that I had that post, a lot of people were replying to my story, mixed people, like in terms of like locals from Portland, black women, black men in Portland, black leaders in Portland. And honestly, when I put that post up, I felt hella vulnerable. I'm like, oh, I mean, they probably like, look at this bitter black girl up here talking about she's triggered because of how she's treated here. But it started such a dialogue to hear a perspective of a black woman who's from Portland. It was like, girl, you're not alone, I feel that. And then to hear like a black leader from Portland, a black man, say, like literally agree in putting words that I didn't use outside of the undervalued and all that. And then literally actively say, I've never lived in a place, he's been here for 10 years. And he's like, I've never lived in a place where white women overly fetishize black men. So to hear that made me feel great, like, okay, I'm not crazy. Because I come here and I'm like, whoa, what is wrong? What is this? You know, I'm a very vocal person and I'll, speak up about these things. But it's always that insecure level of feeling vulnerable, like you're putting out how you feel and not knowing how people are going to perceive what you're saying. But that moment that people are relating to that. And one more thing is, I feel like black women, we're very multidimensional. That's my favorite word to describe us. In the sense that, we can be into so many different things. Like, I've been in this space where I've been meeting so many types of black women, like whether you're an emo black woman or a luxury black woman, y'all get my drift, right? Yeah. But the common narrative that I've been having, or conversation I've been having with women here from all these backgrounds, is how hard they're having, the dating life is very hard for them. And for me, it just bothers me because I'm a big empath and I think I can fix things. And it just makes me get so upset because I talk to so many phenomenal women who are, number one, just beautiful, like very interesting interests in life and all these things. And I'm like, how are you singing? Granted, I'm single myself, so I don't know why I'm like, how are you singing? How are you singing? But it breaks my heart to have all these conversations with all these different types of women. And it's the same conversation, always. And to be in this, I remember when I first moved here and Kat came to visit last fall. It was my first time going out because I wasn't really going out like that. And Kat saw it firsthand where, we're from the East Coast. If we see a homie out, or not even a homie, a black man out, we want to like start a conversation. And that happened to us when we went out to Two Runs. And it's like, it's still new to Portland. It's like November. It wasn't really outside like that. And we were waiting for the bathroom, and there was a black man there. And he looked like an East Coast black man or whatever. You say hi to people. And he acted like he was afraid to talk to us. And there was a white woman right next to him, and he felt comfortable leaning into her to grab her into the conversation as if we were vultures or something. It was a very weird experience, and from that, I wasn't going outside anymore. And granted, I wasn't really outside. I was outside for like holidays and people's birthdays. But it just made me so angry. I'm like, why am I even going out? Like, I don't care. But then my mindset changed once my community started to really grow, and I'm just going out to be with my friends who I really enjoy. But it's really heartbreaking to see the dynamics here. And, circling back to that black man who was agreeing to my story, we followed up the next day in person, and he was like, black men are afraid of accountability, and they're going to take all that attention that they're getting in this moment. Maybe they were like not really, how there's different types of black men, like the nerdy black men be like, oh, well, no, the black women don't like you because I'm there, or whatever. Whatever that narrative is, but the whole point of view that he was saying was like black men don't want accountability. So they'll go after this attention that's coming after them actively, or they'll go with this easier solution that's not going to hold them accountable. That's not going. I don't want to talk too much, but there's so many layers in this. I know some white women who date black men, and then the black men manipulate them and get upset with them because they don't understand their trauma. But you knew she was white, you knew she didn't understand your background. There's so much I can talk about here, but I'm going to close it out because I know we need to.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you feel that from white women? Like, is there like an energy toward you?
Yes, I feel energy toward. I feel like so along in that season, that chapter of fall here, when I was going out, there will be I was going out with black women. There will be a wave of women and I would feel the energy of like someone looking you up and down, like sizing you up. get that from white women. Like, it was a thing here. Or, I haven't really experienced it now, but that fall season, I was definitely feeling it. Now I hang out with, like, I'm intentional of how I go out kind of thing now. But before, I was just going out just like introduction to the scene. And just the cross-examination of sizing you up, and then like taking your vernacular, taking your style, and that's being accepted from a black man. But like, we are that, and you don't like that from us. But you like it when this white woman is speaking like us, is wearing earrings like us, is doing all these things. So I'm being triggered.
I apologize for you being triggered.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, there's nothing that you said that I haven't heard.
Yeah.
And the idea of black men fleeing accountability makes sense in that dynamic.
Yeah.
Because by partnering with someone outside of your community, outside of your culture, the expectations are much lower.
Yeah.
And you can get away with all of the shit.
Right.
So, yeah.
Everything you said, I see you. I don't know, this is a tough one for me, because there's just so many thoughts, and I think over 10 years, you don't want to put everybody in like one bucket, because I will say, I have encountered some very genuine black men who have been looking for black women, and I want to acknowledge that. But I also think it's important to say there have been a lot of men who, like, let's not even just get to the dating thing, just don't acknowledge you as a black woman.
Do you feel protected by black men in Portland?
No. Not at all. And there's a big difference from even just going back home and riding the train and genuinely men just trying to be men. And here, we could have mutual friends and the door could get slammed in my face tomorrow by you. Like, there is just a lack of accountability, I think. And I do agree that I think both parties do need to take the time also to understand what that journey is like here in Portland. Because even like when you say, for instance, children, I think that's interesting because like another thing that we talked about was kind of like what does it take for things to grow, things to thrive, and it's like as a black woman, if you don't have health care that knows your body, do you feel comfortable bringing a baby into the
You brought that up the
world?
last time I was here. You were like, I think for black people to strive in Portland, we need to see black in industries such as medical. Why can't I find a doctor? When you guys said that, I was like, shit, I wasn't even thinking that.